Hello everybody, today is January 7th, 2021. Yes, Happy New Year's, and Soccer Spirits has recently dropped their latest patch with the new Legend Dark Striker Mirage. Now, I was going to record the gacha video along with this, but I accidentally messed up and forgot to actually record or turn on the recording when I was pulling for her. But I did actually get her way before the pity draw. I think I got her within 77 or 88 draws, which was a very, very pleasant surprise. But I guess so what I want to do in this video is kind of talk about her skills and what I believe she will be good for and what she probably will not be good for. And hopefully give everybody some insight as to if you're on the edge about whether or not you want to draw her and you don't necessarily have all the crystals in the world to spend, is it really going to be worth it to draw her as a unit? Now, to start off, I like to talk about this new mechanic that they introduced with her active, and it's this transform active. So once you do have enough spirit to use the active, she transforms into a different art, which is not shown in the skins or anything like that, but she transforms into a different art on the battlefield and then gains these abilities, namely for her 60% increased penetration and this 100% inflict additional damage to the goalkeeper. Now, you want to be careful because this 100% increase additional damage to the goalkeeper is not a stat that affects the enemy DR stat. So this does not directly affect the DR stat. This will show up as GK Hunt for the player, which is equivalent to a Wind Caller stone. If you guys know that particular unique stone, the Wind Caller, what do we got here? Yeah, so like the Wind Caller right here, increase the damage dealt to goalkeepers. It's the same stat as this, as the Wind Caller. So she gets 100% GK Hunt while using that active, not necessarily like decrease the enemy DR by like 100%. So that 100% increase to goalkeeper damage that shows up as GK Hunt really mathematically comes down to about approximately 100% crit damage, additional crit damage if she were to crit. But of course she doesn't have to crit to gain that additional damage. And this is set for 5 minutes, lasts through inability effects with an 8-minute cooldown. Now, this three full spirit bars or 300 spirit is a ridiculously stringent condition because, you know, you have to have the full spirit upon activation. And to help that, you do have this first passive that tries to fix that, and it really decreases the spirit consumption by 30%. Stacks for 3 times whenever an ally gets attacked. So under these conditions, the way, if you wanted to activate her for a one-hit KO composition, it would be nearly impossible in my opinion, even if you ran Queen as a totem, just because it's 3 bars and you will not have the enemy attacking any of your units before she's gonna be able to use your active. So she's really not a one-hit KO style goalkeeper unless you plan to run, you know, a heavy odd defense that and actually, you know, trade hits with your opponent. But this, upon 3 stacks, will decrease her active all the way down to something like only 90 spirit, or no. Hold on, 90%, it takes her down to something like 30 spirit actually, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good if you're able to get all 3 triggers, and this does not last through inability effect. So say that she already has 2 triggers, her spirit's down, she gets the ball, but it's not her turn and the enemy steals and she gets disabled, well, this resets. So it's a pretty stringent requirement to be placed on the active, especially in the cases where she does get attacked, and then she will lose all stacks of this passive. Moving on to her second passive, she'll remove the active type buffs applied to enemies in the position if she's in the main or sub squad, which is actually just the front row. And she will increase the receiving debuff effect passives by 30% when by using the active skill, and it lasts for 5 minutes. So really, if you look at this skill along with this last one, which is decrease the defense the enemies by 40%, she's really focused on a team that applies debuff passives to the enemy back row, and this second passive will really amplify that effect. And also this interesting one that removes the active type buffs could be interesting in a future Superb Boss content where it might require a way to remove active type buffs, and your leaders are disabled or unable to use their abilities, for example, like the Monkey Superb Boss that we just fought on December 25th. So it's an interesting way to look at this passive. And then of course we have this third passive, decreases defense of the enemies, but also this very last part that steals the attack power by 5% of all players in the match. Now, this particular segment of the passive used to be on Miri before she got nerfed. And not necessarily the whole team, in the past, she had the passive to steal the attack power of just the enemy back row. And it had so much backlash that she got nerfed, and it was removed because of that. So I'm pretty surprised that they would bring this. This steals the attack power of all players in the match with a shot. Simply because, not necessarily in PvP scenarios, but this opens up avenues in a lot of PvE scenarios where they have ridiculously high Superb Boss stats or Labyrinth stats. Or I'm not sure if Labyrinth has ridiculous stats. I know they just have over-leveled skills, but regardless, this steals the attack power comes in very, very handy in PvE scenarios where Soccer Spirits just ridiculously buffs the enemy team in stats, and this will really, really punish the enemy team that has ridiculously buffed attack stats because it will steal a lot of attack power. So overall, I think she could be very, very useful in very specific PvE games that tend to play on a lot longer. If your main focus is in PvP, I don't think she will be very, very critical or a very hard-played striker, even in live, just because of two things. One, the stringent requirements to play this active style of applying the damage reduction and the active, but also the fact that she really has no natural crit or crit damage to play off of. She has a defense nerf that she plays off of debuff stats that maybe totems can provide in the front row, but you have to remember, if you totem stuff like Celis, the new Neuro, other units that really increase the incoming damage, you're losing out on assists or other buffing totems, which are critical to really help you make a winning shot. And especially in the fact that she really has no natural crit rate or crit damage built into her kit is really going to punish her for that in PvP scenarios. And in Galaxy League, it's on complete auto, right? So you really don't have very good control of whether the AI will be able to pull off the active in the right manner. And so I don't really see her as a huge game-changing striker or even to appear too much in PvP content. But if you do have a focus towards PvE content and are looking for a striker that can possibly carry future Superb Bosses, Mirage is the unit for you. What is your opinion about the new Legend Mirage? Let me know in the comments below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.